Hey YouTube, I'm Zakia and welcome back to my channel, you guys. As y'all can tell by the title below, today I am coming to you guys with the information that y'all have been asking about. What was my GPA score? What did I write about? Who did I receive rec letters from? I am about to answer all of those questions in this video right now. But before I get into the video, as you guys know, I have to do my words by Z. And today I basically just want to talk about self-assurance and making sure that you put yourself first. So I chose to talk about this topic because I have a bad tendency of always telling people yes, I can do this, yes, I can do this, and sometimes I really cannot, and it makes me have to put myself, like, after all of those things, I end up having to stay up later at night or just overextended myself. So first, just make sure that you guys are always putting yourself first. Like, it's a good thing to want to help people, but make sure that, like, you take care of your things first, and make sure that you aren't having to, like, put your sleep aside or, like, eating aside and, like, things that you need aside to help other people. Also, you guys, as far as self-assurance, make sure that you are promoting yourself, being confident in yourself, and really just loving yourself. I feel like that's something that we got to make sure we do, like, in our generation, because a lot of times we want to seek validation from other people, but you should be seeking that validation from yourself first. Like, as long as you approve what you are doing, then that is what matters the most. But I'm gonna stop rambling and go ahead and get into this video. Okay, so first of all, as you guys can see, peep the merch. I heart being a Howard girl. If you want some Howard merch, go to Last Bison Standard on Instagram. They have, like, some really cute shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. Go check them out, y'all. So now I'm going to start with my portfolio. So what I did, you guys, and I am going to do screenshots on the video, because I don't want to, like, screen record this whole thing. That, like, when I did that on my last video, it was, like, a lot. But I logged into my Common App application, because if you don't know, to apply to Howard, you have to apply through Common App. And, like, many other schools take Common App also. So I logged into my Common App application, well, my application on Common App. And first, so I'm going to put a picture of this, but I'm looking at, on here they have, you will go to my colleges. Once you add Howard University as one of your colleges, you'll see this page, and it tells you all of the contact information, phone number, email, address, and then you will scroll down and it tells you the application deadlines. So early decision, y'all know that has already passed. That was November 1st 2019. Early action was also November 1st 2019. And regular decision was February 15, 2020. So all of the application deadlines have passed. I'm pretty sure almost everybody has got their decision back, if I know correctly. But yeah, also down here, like, you will see application fee. It tells you what tests are required to apply. It also tells you recommendations that they think you should include in your application, because they feel like that will give you a better chance of getting in. And then you scroll down and it tells you the writing requirements. So for me, first I had to do the Common App personal essay, which is something that everybody has to do. The college questions, which is also something everybody has to do. And lastly, the writing supplement. So I did have to do a writing supplement because originally I applied to the School of Theater Arts, and that did have a writing supplement. I'm now in School of C, which is School of Communications. I don't know if they had a writing supplement, because that's not originally what I applied. Actually, they did. They definitely did, yeah. So just make sure you check to see if your school has a writing supplement, because I know when I first did the application, I didn't see the writing supplement, and that's, like, really critical, especially if you want to get into that school. So make sure you check to see if your school has a writing supplement. So now I'm going to dive into my actual, like, things that I apply with. So you will go to Common App, and once you go to Common App, it will show you your application. Hold on, let me turn my ringer on. So the first thing says profile, and on profile you can basically see like your name, you know, all of that important information, your address, contact details, demographics, geography, language, citizenship, common app, fee waiver. Pretty much I feel like all of that is self-explanatory. But the common app fee waiver, if you want to get a fee waiver, go talk to your school, your high school counselor, because I think I did get a fee waiver. It basically covers the application fee. I believe I did get a waiver, and that was given to me by my counselor. So make sure you go to your counselor and ask for it. I'm pretty sure like it's really easy to get it. Just make sure you go ask about that. The next tab is family, and it's basically asking like, are your parents married? How many siblings do you have? All of that, fill that out, self-explanatory. Next is the education tab. The education tab just wants to know like, how many high schools have you attended? Was it a boarding school? Did you graduate? When will you graduate? What is your counselor's name? It asked about what are your college and university options, and right here is when you are going to put your grades in. So it literally asks what was your class size, what was your ranking at school, GPA, weighted, unweighted. It also asks like if you were in honors. This is literally, I feel like this portion is your resume. Like this is where you're going to insert a lot of the stuff from your resume. So it might help if you have your resume pulled up next to this part, like while you're doing it. And again, I'm gonna put some pictures on the side, y'all, because I feel like screen recording was just a lot last time. Then they asked what community-based organizations were you in, and lastly they asked what are your future plans. So you will put your career interests and put what degree you want to seek. I think for mine I put I put a BA, but I was also kind of feeling like undecided because I don't know if that's where I want to stop, and that's kind of where the question asks. So, you know, put a bachelor's on there, or you could just put undecided. I don't really think that matters too much. Next, they asked you about testing. They asked you, did you take the ACT or the ACT or the SAT, and make sure you fill that out because that's required for you to apply anyways. When you go to the next tab, it says activities. So again, I feel like the activities tab is the tab where you want to have your resume put up also, because the activities tab, I'm gonna put a screenshot up here, but this is basically where you will insert if you did sports. What else? So I did sports on here. Your academic clubs you were in, so beta club I put on here. Okay, I'm actually gonna name everything I put on here just to give y'all more details. So I had JV and varsity cheerleading. I had JV and varsity soccer. I had beta club, which I was a member of, and a grade I was the 11th grade and 12th grade representative of that. I put student council, which I was a part of all 4 years of high school. I was a part of the debate club, but I was just a member of that. I was also a part of Math Mentors, which is a club at my school. I was a part of that for most of high school also. I put yearbook club on there. National Honor Society, which I was a member of. I put on here Leaders of Tomorrow, which is which is an organization under the BAA Atlanta chapter. So did I say it right? I'm sorry, NBMBAA Atlanta chapter, which was another club, and I was also the secretary of that club, so I put that on there. I also was Miss 11th grade, so that shows school spirit. So basically, y'all, I had 10 activities on here, 10 sports, organizations, clubs, school spirit things that I did. And there's literally a drop down arrow so that you can put like what sector it goes into. But right here, I think it's really important for you to say every single thing that you did. Like Miss 11th grade, originally I was not feeling like I should have put that on here, but it shows my school spirit. I also had a leadership role because I had to represent the 11th grade, and also given this opportunity, like I MC at one of our pep rallies. So literally you want to put every single thing that you did in your high school years down during this part. They also ask for a little description of what you accomplished, if you received any awards. Make sure that you are being very detailed. Make sure that you are using I phrases, saying things like, I was responsible for this, I was assigned this task. I feel like that's also really important because it lets them know what you actually did in the organization. Lastly, if you had a leadership role, make sure that you say that in here because that's important. Like, being a member is very important, but holding that leadership role is a lot more important because you had a larger role. So make sure that you emphasize that on the application also. They also ask how many hours you spent per week and how many weeks you spent per year. I'm pretty sure on this I kind of just like guesstimated because I just really did not keep track of that seriously unless I was like really doing it. Like for soccer, it was like hard for me to track that because it's like we start practicing during first semester, but our actual games don't start till second semester. But for there, don't really think too hard about it. Just try your best to remember how many hours you practice a week and how many weeks you did per year. The next tab is the writing part, and it's the personal essay. So if you go on there, you will see that there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 essay options. It's very important that you read each option carefully. Make sure that you answer these how they are supposed to be answered, and make sure that you just make it very personal. So for mine, I chose the writing prompt: discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. So for this prompt, I wrote about the book that my sister and I wrote, and I basically talked about, the book was called Do I Like What I See, and it basically talked about the journeys that black women had with their hair and how it affected their self-esteem, how it affected them getting jobs and things like that. So I was able to tie this to the prompt because first I talked about the fact that social media and just society plays a humongous role in how we view ourselves. It plays a humongous role in how people view us. So that was like the realization that I had. I feel like personal growth was because the things that society put in place, or the influence that society has on us, also like influenced me, and I was able to realize that I was influenced by society also. So I talked about how I was influenced. And lastly, when I talked about personal growth, I talked about just being myself and doing the things that I love doing, not allowing society to influence me, but also encouraging other women to wear their hair how they want to wear, and just knowing that you are beautiful no matter what your hair looks like. Like, that was basically what I talked about in my essay. In my essay, the essay has to be, hold on, I'm trying to see how long. It has to be 650 words. The minimum 250. I suggest, like, your essay does not have to be super duper long, but my essay was 636 words. So literally, like, you want to be very detailed in your essay, give a lot of examples, make it very, very personal. Like, I feel like this is the time to make it very personal. And also, I feel like in a lot of my videos, I tell you guys, or even like if I've messaged some of y'all, I tell y'all, like, if there was a time in your high school years where you didn't really do that good that year, or your grades kind of fell, this is the time to discuss it. So, like, sorry, you could use this prompt and just talk about how maybe this event caused you to not really be able to focus on school. You couldn't really give as much time to your grades, and then turn it around and say, how did you grow from this experience? How is this going to help you understand yourself in the future? What are you going to do to prevent this? So kind of just talk about that. Like, literally, I feel like the essay is probably, I don't want to say the most important part, but I feel like it's important that you utilize this to your advantage. Like, definitely make sure that you talk about your goals, your passions, anything that you feel like they should know. Talk about it in the essay, because everything else is kind of just like input. You can't really have an explanation. So just wanted to stress that a little bit, but use your essay wisely, definitely. The next part is the supplement essay, and I don't know where mine is on here, so I'm gonna just pull it up in my Google Doc. I remember what it was called. So basically, for my supplement essay, you basically had to say why. I know mine was basically like, why do you want to major in this, or something like, why is this your passion, something along that realm. And I kind of feel like everybody's was kind of like that, because the supplement essay, so basically the way applying for school goes is like, the application goes to Howard. Once you get into Howard, you have to get into that school that you want to apply for. So whether that's SOB, whether that's SOC, like you have to apply, like the essay goes to that school. So this essay was more towards like the school, the theater art school. So literally, I started off talking about how I had to balance my responsibilities of maintaining my grades, and I started talking about how a lot of people knew their career aspirations early on in high school, and just kind of how I never really knew what I wanted to do. Like, I was not extremely certain about what I wanted to do, and I talked about how that made me feel bad. It made me feel like behind and things like that. And then I talked about, so basically I have 3 opportunities. There were 3 things that I did in high school that made me realize I wanted to do acting, I wanted to do film, I wanted to do editing. And so that was what my entire essay was structured around. So the first one, I talked about how, what is this? Let me see. So the first one, I talked about when I had the opportunity to MC an event, and just like how I took a public speaking class. So that was like one of my first realizations, to know like I like being able to like share messages with people, create a good vibe. I felt like I have like an idea in my head, and I like to be able to produce that and see that. So that was like one of the first things that I saw, because when I MC'd y'all, I was like very comfortable. I felt like that was really like my element, and it was literally my first time, and it was so many people who I was like MCing to, but I feel like I really enjoyed doing that. Also, during my junior year, I had the opportunity to be the director in the play We Did the Great Gatsby. And I really enjoyed being the director, because I was able to like dip into each like category. So I worked with the writers for a part. I also worked with like props, and I also did like stage settings and things like that. So I really just talked about the experiences that helped me to realize like, this is what I like doing, this is my passion, these are my goals. And that is pretty much what my essay was structured around. And then I end up closing it off just basically saying like, if I get the opportunity to go to Howard University, like this is how it will help me to improve my skills. I really love doing this, and I want to do this around Black professors and at an all Black, or mostly Black setting. So that was pretty much what my essay was about. I feel like this essay was super duper personal, because I started off expressing like how I felt during high school, how it made me feel not knowing what I wanted to do. Like, I feel like everybody knows that pressure, like, because people always ask you like, what do you want to be when you grow up, what do you want to do when you get to college? And I didn't know, and I felt like I was behind. So I started out really personal with that, and then I went deeper in and talked about these experiences that I had that made me realize like, wow, I like doing this. Oh, these are my goals, like this is what I want to do. So I feel like this essay was super duper personal. So really just make sure that y'all essays are personal. Like, I feel like that's so important. So I don't see where the rec letters are on here, but for my recommendation letters, I remember I sent 3 recommendation letters. You have to have a recommendation letter from your counselor. What I'm going to say about that, y'all, because I know a lot of people go to really big schools and they may not be that close to their counselor. Ask your counselor for a recommendation letter ahead of time, because they have to write rec letters for pretty much everybody who plans on applying to college. Like, I know mostly all colleges ask for a rec letter from your counselor. So make sure that you ask them ahead of time, so that they can really just put a lot of quality time into your essay and not have to rush it. Also, make sure that y'all are showing like appreciation and actually going to try to spend time with your counselor, because you want them to be able to say good things about you. So I sent a rec letter from my counselor. I also know that Howard only required 2 rec letters, but I sent 3. So I just feel like if there's ever an opportunity to do more work, if this is really something that you want to do, if you really want to go here, do the extra work. So I got a rec letter from my counselor. I also got my AP calculus teacher to write me a recommendation letter, and I feel like that was very powerful also, because she was also my teacher in 11th grade. So I had the same teacher in 11th and 12th grade, so she was able to speak on me and speak about my growth, speak about how she saw me from 11th to 12th grade. And I just felt like she had a lot of time, like we had a lot of like bonding time, like quality time, so she could write a really good essay and go into depth about like who I really am as a student and things like that. And my last recommendation letter was from my college professor at Georgia State in my public speaking class. And I actually only was in class with him for a semester, but I chose to ask him because I did really great in that class. I also like went to his office hours a lot, and I know like I really put in the work in that class, and I knew like he could speak to that. And also I felt like he was a good writer. Like when I would hear him say things in class, like he was a pretty good writer. So that's also why I asked him. So just make sure that you guys are being strategic about who you ask for recommendation letters from, and make sure that you are just showing appreciation, because imagine having to write an essay for 100 students. Like that's literally a lot. So just make sure that you're showing appreciation for them. Is that everything? Y'all know everything about like SAT, ACT. Make sure that you study. It's not the end of the world if you don't score how you want to score. Literally, I tore myself apart about SAT, ACT. And the thing about it was, I feel like my score, what did I get? Okay, on the SAT I got an 1190. On the ACT I think I got a 23. So, and I took the SAT 3 times. I took the ACT once. So for me, I was kind of like really hard on myself, because I felt like that was just like in between and not as high as I wanted it to be. My bad, y'all, my camera stopped recording. But I had to realize like Howard has a holistic review. So they are not just looking at your test scores. They literally look at your test scores. They look at your recommendation letters. They look at your application questions. They look at your essays, your personal and your supplementary essay. Literally, y'all, like I feel like a lot of people, like I see y'all's DMs and I respond to a lot of them, and I let y'all know like it is okay if you did not get the highest score on the test. Like, do your best, study for it, but do not stress yourself out about that, because everybody isn't a good test taker. And that is why like Howard has a holistic review, because a test does not define, like I feel like a test doesn't show you how hard I can work. A test doesn't show you my passion for what I want to go into. A test can't show you my experience and what I want to go and do for like a living. So don't stress yourself out about the test, y'all. Don't stress yourself out about your grades. Like, as once you do your best, once you get to your senior year, you can't go back and make up the grade from 9th grade. So it's kind of like make up for that stuff in your essay. Make up for that stuff in your rec letters. That's why I really feel like the essay is like really the most important part of the application, because you just have so much leverage. Like, you can talk about whatever you want to in the essay. So I feel like that's it, y'all. Let me look on here. I'm gonna insert some pictures like I said, so y'all can kind of see how everything looks. Y'all can kind of see how my information looks and things like that. But I feel like that's everything. I honestly just want to say, don't stress yourself out about applying to school, y'all. I feel like I really stressed myself out during my senior year about like applications, scholarships, and things like that. And at the end of the day, like I live by this now. you can only do your best in something, and once you do your best, like, you have to release it, let it go off your chest, and just wait for the results, and literally understand that everything happens for a reason. Because like with the SAT, the reason why I was mostly eating me up was because I took one ACT class and I took 2 SAT classes. The classes would be like 3 times a week for 3 hours. So I felt like I had put in the work. I felt like I had did all I could do. And the fact that the grade didn't come back how I wanted it to, like, kind of tore me apart. And I didn't realize this at the time. Okay. I didn't realize it at the time, but I did everything I could do. And I needed to release that. And I also needed to realize that what was meant to happen, you know, happened. Like, I still got into Howard University. So do not stress, y'all. I swear, like, do not stress. Like, I just cannot stress that enough. Do not make yourself feel bad. Like, if you do everything you can do, release it, let it go, and you just have to be patient and wait for the results. And pray, y'all. Definitely pray. Y'all know I'm so religious. Like, pray about it. But that basically concludes the video. But oh, y'all, I meant to say this in the beginning too. Sorry. Sorry, I meant to say this in the beginning of the video. I am so sorry that I have not been posting like I should have been. I have been super duper busy. And actually, last week I recorded a video with my friends and it got copyrighted. So I have been trying to put videos out, y'all, and I'm so sorry that it's literally taking me this long. I'm gonna try to get back on it, but I'm really busy right now. So the videos are rolling in slow. Just bear with me, still support you guys, and like, I'm gonna be back on it once some things start to slow down. But let me do my post notification shout out. So today the post notification shout out goes to, I haven't posted a video, so like, I'm having to go to old videos. Okay, today the post notification shout out will go to Sharon Joshua. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. If anybody else wants a post notification shout out, make sure that you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell button so that my post notifications come on, and comment done in the comments below, and I'll give you a post notification shout out in the next video. But this concludes the video. If you guys have some more questions, feel free to DM me, email me. Like, I'll have all my social media in the comments below, so feel free to ask me whatever questions you guys have. And thank you guys for supporting me once again, and I will be back with more videos.